guys, of course. Thank you so much for being here. All right, let's get started. I've got a little yin practice for us today. Yin is the exact opposite of what we did this morning. So this morning was very yang energy, very fiery. This is very similar to restorative, but a little more stretchy, a little less supported. So we're going to do a couple of poses today, but what we're really going to do in the meat of today's practice is get into our hips. So in our hips is where we hold a lot of trauma, especially as women. So if you're tight in your hips, it could mean that you're holding on to some past trauma. And I always like to joke that all my exes live in my hips. So it's really important to stretch that shit out, right? Send them love and light, and let's be on our way already. So just this being such a traumatic experience in our lifetime, I feel like we should get ahead of it and start stretching this shit out before it embeds in our bodies. So we're going to get into some hip openers and so yin, we hold poses a little bit longer, stretches a little bit longer. If there's anything that becomes too intense, come out of it, take a child's pose. We're going to be very calm and gentle. We're going to do one pose with the toes that can sometimes be a little intense, and I'm going to hope that you just breathe through it and know that like everything else is temporary. So thank you for being here. Let's get started. Come into a comfortable seated position, whatever that is for you. And we will start with our 3 cleansing breaths, bringing your hands to prayer at your heart. And take a big inhale through your nose as the arms span up overhead. Fill up. Exhale out your mouth as the hands come to heart center. 2 more exactly like that. Big, huge inhale. Fan up, fill up, be grateful. Exhale, release it all. Your biggest one yet. Fill up on all that good, juicy love and light. And exhale anything that isn't serving that purpose. And we're just going to take a moment of meditation right here. Hands can stay in prayer at your heart, or maybe bringing them down to the thighs, palms facing up for a little more receiving energy, and down for a little more grounding energy. Close your eyes, and let's just lift our shoulders up to our ears, and then exhale, roll the shoulders down and back. 2 more like that. Inhale, lift the shoulders. Exhale, roll them down and back. And 1 more. Inhale, lift the shoulders. And exhale, roll them down and back. Make sure you're really comfortable. Get out any last little wiggles and fidgets. And bring into your imagination, bring into a visualization of you being in this big, beautiful bubble. This is a big, beautiful, comfortable, happy, safe, calm, peaceful bubble. And check in with yourself. Maybe you want to float high up into the sky, looking down onto your favorite view. Maybe you want to stay a little closer to the ground, hovering just off the earth's surface. Whatever feels the most calm to you. Just visualize yourself floating, happy, peaceful, calm. Any kind of anxiety or stress, anything that isn't adding to this feeling of calm and peace is not welcome in your bubble. It drops right outside of your bubble. Or if it's coming toward you, it bounces right off and dissipates into a puff of sparkles, not being able to penetrate your bubble. And you return to this calm, safe, peaceful, happy bubble, just floating. And as I mentioned in our morning practice, if this feels a little silly or awkward, or you're having a hard time really getting into the visualization of it, just do your best. Simply thinking about it does a ton for your subconscious. Our subconscious is very visual, more so than with words. So even if you're feeling like this is a little hippie voodoo woo-woo, it still does have a positive effect. Calming the central nervous system and creating a peaceful mood. Taking a few more moments here, visualizing yourself in this bubble, visualizing yourself calm, happy, peaceful, floating, sparkling. And know that you can wrap yourself in this beautiful bubble at any time, any day that stressors are starting to come at you or anxiety is starting to build. Open your eyes, and we'll take a little stretch to get started. Bring the right hand out to the right, lift the left arm open, up and over, take a nice big stretch. And then inhale, come to center, take it to the other side. Moving slow, just a tiny bit of movement. Keep alternating sides. Inhale to center, exhale to stretch. Inhale to center, exhale to stretch. One more time to the left, big inhale. And exhale. Nice. Coming back to center. We're going to come into a forward fold. So just lift your hips up towards the sky. We're going to be here for 10 full breaths. So I want you to scoop your low belly in. And I want you to grab your opposite elbows, letting the crown of the head hang totally heavy, no tension in your neck. You can have as much bend in the knees as you need to, and then as we breathe for a couple breaths, maybe slowly start to straighten the legs. Again, check in with your neck, nod it yes and no, letting that head hang like a piece of ripe papaya ready to be plucked from the tree. And breathe deeply. As I mentioned, we hold poses a little longer in a yin class. It's slightly more active than restorative. 3 more full breaths right here. And on your next inhale, bring your hands to your shins, shine your heart forward. We're going to come into a yogi squat, also referred to as malasana. So scoot your booty down. So my heels under and my toes are out. I'm going to actually just turn to face you. So it's a nice big yogi squat. Because it's evening time and we're trying to make this a little more restorative, I'm going to sit on a block, but you don't have to. And then bring the hands to prayer at your heart. And use your elbows as traction against your knees. So you're just ever so slightly pressing those knees open. Chest is lifted, close your eyes, and we have 10 breaths right here. Checking in, where's your mind at? Return it back to your breath. Come back into that bubble, visualizing it circling around you, keeping that state of calmness, of peace. Let's take 2 more full breaths right here. Fill up all the way deep down into your toes. And exhale, let everything go. One more big inhale, fill up. And exhale, let it all go. We're going to take this sequence one more time. So bring the hands down in front of you. Turn your toes back to forward so your heels are behind your toes. And then lift your hips straight up to the sky one more time. You should feel a little bit more openness than the first time we visited this. And again, let's grab opposite elbows. Crown of the head hangs heavy, no tension in our neck. Think about your papaya. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Might feel nice to sway side to side. And again, breathe deeply. Hey, boo. What are you doing? Say hi to the people. Oh, down that boo. That's so nice, boo. That's so nice. You're such a good little yogi boo. You're such a good little yogi. We've got 3 more breaths right here. Fill up completely. Empty out fully. 2 more. And then inhale, bring your hands to your shins, shine your heart forward. And then exhale, take that nice big yogi squat again. So my heels are turned in, my toes are out. I'm choosing to sit on a block. You absolutely don't have to. Chest is lifted, core is engaged. Bring the hands back to prayer. Press your elbows into your knees and breathe for 10 full breaths. More breaths. Well, boo, that's enough, boo. One more big inhale. Exhale, let it all go. Now if you're on your block, come off your block. We're going to come onto our shins. And let's just sit here for a moment. Sit up on your heels. Palms can be up or down on the thighs. Just close the eyes for a moment. Reconnect to your breath. Maybe come back into your visualization of your bubble. And just sit up nice and tall right here. Stretching the front of the ankles. And breathing. And then come to all fours. This is a little bit intense, but it's so good for you. And ever since I had my toe accident, I'm actually grateful I can do it. So I want you to tuck your toes. This actually opens up the entire front meridian in your body. So it's amazing for all your digestive organs, your liver, all that sort of stuff. So think about that instead of the intensity, okay? So tuck your toes, and then I want you to sit up on your heels, okay? Breathe through this. We're here for 10 full breaths. Who's on one today? And instead of focusing on the intensity, let's focus on being grateful for our feet and the journey that it has walked us on thus far. For every single toe. Breathe. Soften. You can get through this. We're already halfway there. You're on one today, boo. Two more breaths. Fill up completely. Exhale, let it go. Inhale. And exhale. Come back to all fours. And now untuck your toes. I know, intense, right? So good for you, though. No, go lay down on your bed. Somebody's not into a yin class right now. Someone's very active. Tap out your feet. Pound them out. And then let's take a big child's pose right here. Bring your big toes together, your knees far apart. Sink the hips to the heels. And rest your forehead on your mat. Maybe massage that third eye space. And just take a couple breaths here. Let the belly be heavy. Your arms can stay active if you're feeling like you have a little extra energy. I'm actually going to bring mine into prayer and then bend my elbow so my prayer is right above my neck. I love this little cozy child's pose, but do what's comfortable for you. We've got 3 more breaths right here. Take a really big inhale. Crunch your lips, let it all go. Then extend your arms back out. Make your way to all fours. And we're going to step our right foot up in between our hands. And we're going to start with a 90-degree angle in both legs. So my front knee is right over my ankle. My hips are right over my back knee. You're not going to feel much of a stretch here, but I just want you to hang out here for a moment. Hands can come down to the thigh. If you're feeling really spunky, you can lift them up, reaching towards the sky. I'm going to go with leaving them on my thigh. And just breathe right here. If you already feel a little wobbly, maybe walk that right foot out ever so slightly. Breathe. And then take a really big inhale. And exhale, we're going to sink our hips forward, but I want to keep that front knee behind my toes. Okay, so this is where 2 blocks really come in handy, and play around with whatever height works for you. So I'm going to go with the low height for today, but this might feel nice, or if you're feeling a little tight, maybe even in their highest position. Again, you could use some cans of soup or some toilet paper rolls or something else. And I want you to breathe into the front of this left hip flexor. We're starting to work our way into the hips, stretching out those ex-boyfriends, stretching out all of our past trauma and hurt. Sending it all love and light. Thank you for the lessons. Now get the hell out of here. Give me 5 more breaths right here. Hi, am I not paying attention to you? So spoiled you. Take another big inhale. Exhale, let it go. Now, coming into that hamstring stretch, straighten your front leg. Jesus, boo. I'm trying to teach a restorative yin class, boo. Can you chill? Sorry, guys. Can you chill, boo? Can you go lay on your bed? Go lay on your bed. Go get your bone and play. Where was I? Straighten your front leg. Flex your foot so your toes reach back towards your nose and spread your toes. Here are the hamstrings. We love our hamstrings. Breathe. Now I want you to rotate from your hip, taking the toes all the way to the right side of your mat. Oh yeah, baby. Can you say IT band? And then bringing the toes back to the ceiling and then taking them over to the left. You should feel it all the way down your ankle right there. Oh yeah. Awesome. Now bring the toes back to the sky. Rebend that front knee. Now I want you to bring your block and or your hand, or definitely your hand and or your block. And I want you to walk that left foot all the way to the side of your mat. Okay? Now this might be a big enough stretch. Lizard pose could be a doozy. So if this is enough, stay here. Or maybe come on down to your forearms or forearms on blocks. One more option is to come to the outside edge of that right foot. Okay, now resist your urge to fidget wherever you are. This is just kind of always an uncomfortable pose. It's never like super delicious and yummy. I've been doing it for years and it does feel better, but it's definitely not my favorite. But it's so important to stretch these areas out. So instead of focusing on any kind of discomfort you may be feeling, let's bring our awareness back to our breath. Let's return back into our beautiful, floating, peaceful bubble. And let's just breathe through this. We can get through whatever's going on in the world. We can definitely get through a little hip opener. Let's take 5 more big, full, deep breaths right here. Close your eyes. feel it? And is there anything that you can do to soften a little more? Are you forcing anything in the body? Can you do a little less and achieve the exact same result? That's what I mean by soften. Surrender. Breathe. 2 more breaths. Nice, you guys. Now if you're on your forearms, make your way onto your palms. And if you're on blocks, I'm going to say come off of the blocks for this next little bit. And we're going to take really big circles in the hip joint. So whichever direction I'm going to start with, we're going to go both ways. Let's go for 3 times in each direction. Nice. And now reverse it. Whee! Again, love and light. Thanks for the lessons. Last one. Okay. Now make your way to all fours and give that right leg a little shimmy, shimmy, shake out. Hey, hey, hey. And we're going to bring it right back up for a pigeon pose. Now I'm going to give you a couple options for your pigeon. We're going to bring the right knee up to the right wrist and scoot that right leg back. So my hips are square to the mat, okay? If this right hip, if you tend to sink in over onto your right hip, maybe place a block underneath it or even a bolster. And also maybe a block underneath your head. In a normal pigeon, you might not need the props, but since we're kind of here for a little bit longer, it might be nice to just make yourself a little supported. Now, if you are in pigeon and you are as comfortable as you can be, stay here. If pigeon is not your pose and you're feeling so uncomfortable or you have any kind of knee issues, I want you to come onto your back and take a figure 4. So you'll hook that right ankle on your left knee and hug everything back, grabbing the back of the thigh or the front of the shin. And that right foot's going to stay nice and flexed. Okay, you're still getting a beautiful stretch on the outside of that hip. So take whichever variation, or maybe pigeon, you can do pigeon and you're fine in pigeon, but it's not feeling good today and you want to take it on your back. Please do that. Wherever you are, soften. And let's take 5 more breaths. Feeling any kind of tension or tightness leaving your body with each exhale. Nice, you guys. And now walk your hands back towards you. Make your way back to all fours. And let's just take a down dog. So tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog, pedal out the feet a couple times. Wiggle your hips, shimmy your shoulders, nod the head yes and no. And make your way back to all fours. And be grateful you have 2 legs because we get to do all of that on the other side. So we're going to step that left foot up in between our hands. And we're starting in this 90-degree angle. So your front knee's over your ankle, your back hips are over your knee. I like my hands to my thigh. Again, if you're feeling a little bit more energetic, you can lift your biceps by the ears, fingertips reaching towards the sky. Settle in here, breathe. Nice. And now we're going to sink those hips low, but keep that front knee behind your front toes. And come down, maybe onto a couple blocks. Again, play around with the height. And now we're breathing into the front of that right hip flexor. 10 breaths right here. Maybe even close your eyes. Where are you doing extra? Where can you do less and get the same result? Let's move with love. Let's not move with any kind of force. Breathe and soften. more full breaths. Really big inhale. Sink deeper on the exhale. Big inhale. And exhale. Now we're going to sink back towards our back heel, but see how my booty stays in the air. So I'm not coming all the way back down. That kind of is a lot on your knee. So my booty's staying in the air and my front leg is straight. And then I'm going to flex my toes. So my toes are reaching towards my nose. I'm spreading my toes. I'm breathing into my hamstring. I move my blocks back slightly. Again, always play around with the height to see what works best in your body. And today will be different than tomorrow, so never judge it. Some days you're amazing at balance. Some days you can't hold tree pose for your life. Some days you're feeling super flexy girl. And some days you're just feeling tight. And that's why it's so important to just check in and honor wherever your body is at every single day. Now let's rotate from the hip, take the toes over to the left. Oh yeah, baby. And then rotate, taking the toes to the right. Toes back up to the sky. Rebend that front leg, and we're going to come into our lizard. So bring your hand and or your block to the inside of that left foot, and walk that left foot all the way over to the left. Sink your hips low. Now again, this might be your pose today. That's totally awesome and fine. Stay on your palms. Or maybe come onto the forearms or forearms on blocks. And then lastly, maybe come to the outside edge of that left foot. Just a little bit of a different experience in the hip. And now I want you to breathe. We've got 10 full breaths right here. Soften, surrender. Breathe. Two more breaths here. Where's your mind at? Bring it back to the breath. Nice, you guys. Now, if you're on your forearms, make your way back onto your palms. Bring that knee back to, so you're on all fours. And then give that left leg a little shimmy, shimmy, shake it out. Ah, yeah. And now if you did the figure 4 on your back on the other side, go ahead and make your way onto your back and take it on this side. Or come into pigeon, bringing that left knee up to your left wrist, the foot over to the right side of your mat. Maybe a block underneath your hip and or your forehead. And on an exhale, forward fold into your sleeping pigeon for 10 breaths. One more big inhale. Stay for the exhale, softening and surrendering completely. And then walk your hands back towards you. And this time, swing your legs around. Extend the legs out in front of you. Remove any junk you got in the trunk. So you're right on your sit bones. Take a really big inhale, arms rise. And exhale, forward fold. I guess I could have told you, if you need a strap or a belt or a dog leash, you can strap the bottom of your feet, or just go as far forward as you can. Keep your feet active, so flex your toes back towards your nose and spread them wide. And breathe. One more big inhale. See if you can get a little closer to your legs on the exhale. And inhale, one vertebrae at a time. Roll back up, sitting up nice and tall. And we're going to come down onto our backs. Make sure Bella's comfortable and has plenty of room. Lay down onto your back. And let's hug both knees into our chest and circle them a couple times to the right and a couple times to the left. Come into a twist. Keep the right knee hugged into your chest. Extend the left leg long and then flex that right foot. So I want you to squeeze and breathe into that low belly. And then take one more big inhale here. And exhale, we're going to come into a supine twist. So drop the knee across your body. I like a block underneath my knee when I come into a twist. It's just an option. You definitely don't need it. And then my left hand to my knee. My right shoulder blade is pinned to the mat. And I'm extending my right arm out long directly from the shoulder and looking over at my right thumb. Finishing off the twist in the spine. Breathe here. Sink deeper into your twist with each and every exhale. One more big inhale here. Stay for the exhale. And make your way back onto your back. Hug both knees into your chest, realigning your spine. And rock side to side, or if it feels good to circle your knees, circle your knees. And then keep the left knee hugged into your chest. Extend the right leg long. Breathe. Take one more big inhale. And then exhale, drop the knee across the body. And then keep that left shoulder blade pinned to the mat. Extend the left arm out long and look over to the left thumb. Again, sinking deeper into your twist with each exhale. And breathe. One more big inhale. Stay for the exhale. Come back onto your back. Hugging your knees into your chest. And then straightening the legs straight up to the sky. Now, if you have a block and you want to place it underneath your sacrum like we did last night, you can do that. You can even scoot up to a wall if you want to just do legs up the wall. Or if you have a strap, you can put a strap on the bottom of the feet, so that it's a little more supported. Otherwise, open your arms out wide like a T. Take up some space. Circle the ankles a couple times in each direction. And point and flex the toes. And let's take 5 more full breaths right here. One more big inhale. Exhale, hug your knees back into your chest. And then take your arms in between your knees and then grab either your ankles, the outside edges of your feet, or maybe your big toes with your peace fingers. And then press your low back into the mat and pull your knees in towards your armpits. Happy baby. Rock side to side. And then hug your knees into your chest. Make yourself a tiny little ball.
Breathe everything for a moment. And then extend your legs long for your final resting pose. Do whatever you need to do to make yourself completely comfortable, maybe placing a blanket over you, a bolster underneath your knees, an eye pillow on your eyes. Relax completely. Stay in Shavasana a little longer, please do. Otherwise, twinkle your fingers and toes. Deepen your breath. Rotate your head from side to side. Take a really big good morning stretch. Reach in the fingertips up overhead, stretching to the toes. Moving on to your right side. You can even take a few more moments there. Your way to a comfortable seated position. If you want to, feel free to stay in your Shavasana. We'll take one final cleansing breath together. Inhale through your nose, the arms fan up overhead. Feel that, be grateful. And exhale out your mouth as you come to heart center. I hope you're feeling relaxed. Take this feeling into the rest of your evening. Maybe enjoy a good book with a cup of tea, or finish up an art project, or simply go to bed early. I think I'm going to have a little spa evening.